Can can you just tell me why school students are walking out of their schools this coming Friday?
Well, I mean, in a way, we all know. I mean, every day you turn on the news, it's a new harrowing statistic about crop failures or insect decline or sea levels rising. And it's the dates get shorter and shorter. It's 2050, then it's 2040, then it's 12 years away, and then, and we've had, Kyoto protocols, we've had talks, questions, committees, conferences, and I think everyone in there feels that the only way we can do this is literally if we stop. And I think many people, Greta Thunberg made her speech, she stopped going to school, and I think many people said, that could work. What if we just stop? And what if we just say no? Something needs to change before we don't know what's going to happen, before chaos and before famine, before mass migration, before any of this.
And tell me what's going to happen here on Friday. And are Irish school students walking out this Friday too?
Well, yes, on a continuing basis, on a weekly basis, we've had many students across the country taking what's called Fridays for Future. So they take the lunchtime off school or they take the day off school on a Friday to protest climate change. But what we're doing in Dublin on Friday is all the school students will leave school during the day and will gather at St. Stephen's Green at 12:15, and then we're going to march to Leinster House, and it will be the first school student strike in Ireland. So it'll be an historic opportunity for.
And why do you think that young people are at the forefront of this movement for change in terms of the climate?
Well, I mean, we're going to be the ones growing up with children, with young families to feed, and during the 2040s and the 2050s, and when we see statistics saying that nowhere in the world is going to have food security or water security, or 1 billion people are going to be without water in places like India and Southeast Asia, it only makes a logical conclusion that it's our generation who are really now stepping up and saying, we must change things and we must take action.
And Leo Varadkar has said that he supports the school students. So, what do you think of that? Do you think that's important? What do you think about Leo Varadkar himself and him saying that?
Well, I think it shows the real power that school students have. It's often said, "Oh, we don't have a lot of power. We don't. We just go to school. That doesn't keep society running, or we don't have the vote, or blah blah blah." But as soon as just an announcement goes out that's saying that we will be striking, our Taoiseach feels that he has to back it. There is no way he has the political will not to back it. Now, at the same time, I think he was very kind of patronizing and cynical about it. I mean, he said afterwards, this isn't a political issue. This is about young people standing up to adults, and it's in every way a political issue. We're not standing up to our mums and dads because, I don't know, they use cars or something to get to work. We're standing up to the major corporations, the top 100 corporations who emit 71% of carbon emissions. We're standing up to palm oil corporations who are tearing down rainforests in Indonesia or Ghana. We're standing up to corporations like Starbucks, who Leo is perfectly happy to shelter, help them avoid paying any tax here. That's who we're standing up to, and we're standing up most of all to Leo Varadkar and his government policies. So he may say he supports it, but let's see if he actually takes action and follows our demands.
And some people might say, some adults might cynically say, look, sure, the young people say these things, but then what would they say if their mom or dad didn't have a car and wouldn't pick them up from school or wouldn't do these things? And young people, sure, they're pretending that they care, but then they're just really selfish underneath. What would you say to that?
Well, look, like anybody, we have practicalities. We have to get to school. We don't like rush hour buses or darts either, and you can't go to the supermarket and choose totally environmentally friendly schools. And I think part of this strike is understanding that we need to change the system. We can't just change ourselves as individuals. We need to confront the system as a collective and to change our economy and change the way the whole world works. And that may seem daunting, and I may say, well, we're just school students, but it has to be done. There's no other way. Otherwise, the alternative is a far more daunting situation.
And what would you say to young people who might be watching this and thinking to themselves, oh, I don't know if there's anything happening in my school? What would you say to them to do?
Well, first of all, I'd say try and encourage your friends, bring as many people as possible. But I mean, I understand it can be hard, but if not, please, if you can, bring yourself, come down, or bring friends and just come down to the protest outside of Leinster House. You know, it starts at 12:15 in St. Stephen's Green and will be at Dul Éireann at 1 or so. So please come down and take part in what could be an historic moment. There'll be protests all over the world. Many schools will have many students walking out, and you'll be able to say in the future, I remember when I took part in one of the first school student strikes for climate change. So